Okay, so we're diving into Portland real estate,
Yeah,
trying to make sense of, what's going on in 2025.
right.
And we've got some interesting stuff to look at today.
We do.
Right, we've got that news from the Portland Business Journal
Uh-huh.
from March 1st,
Yeah,
talking about this like big drop in building permits.
right.
And then we've also got that whole urban doom loop thing
Yes.
that Fox 12 Oregon was talking about on February 21st.
Yeah, that's a catchy phrase.
It is a catchy phrase.
Yeah.
So, like, for anyone listening,
Yeah.
whether you're trying to buy,
Uh,
sell,
yeah.
just want to know what's up.
Right.
The question's like, what does this mean for you?
Well, and I think the interesting thing is, both of these stories that we're looking at today, they both kind of touch on something that's already a big deal in Portland,
Yeah,
and that is the housing crisis.
totally.
Sorry.
So let's start with those plummeting permits.
Okay.
The news is saying that they're way down in 2025.
Right.
And we already know that housing is really tight.
Uh-huh.
So can you help us connect the dots here?
Sure.
Why does this matter so much?
Basically, fewer permits means fewer new homes are going to get built.
Okay.
And when you have fewer homes, that shrinks the supply even more.
Right.
And that, of course, puts a ton of pressure on prices.
Yeah.
Portland has been struggling with affordability for a while now.
Totally.
This just makes things even worse.
So with permits down and competition probably going up,
Yeah.
what do you think is going to happen to buyers in Portland?
Oh, man.
I imagine trying to buy a house right now feels kind of like being in the Hunger Games.
Yeah, you're probably not wrong about that.
Yeah.
Buyers are going to be up against some serious challenges. You're
Yeah.
probably going to see more bidding wars.
Oh, it's for sure.
People are going to have to stretch their budgets even further or
Right.
maybe settle for less than they were hoping for in a house.
Right.
On the other hand, though, if
Yeah.
you're a seller, it's probably a pretty good time.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
High demand and low supply means they can ask for more money,
Uh-huh.
but it's really important to remember that real estate is super local.
Okay.
The overall trend doesn't always tell the whole story.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
So do you have any insights on where someone might still be able to find some houses?
Yeah.
Or where they're building new stuff, even with this whole permit situation?
I mean, it's always a good idea to look beyond the most popular areas.
Okay.
Think about those neighborhoods that are maybe a little rough around the edges or places a bit further out from the city center.
Okay.
So, for example, there are some spots in Southeast Portland,
Okay.
like the Foster Powell neighborhood,
Okay.
or even across the river in Vancouver.
Right.
Those might be some good places to look.
Okay.
But no matter what, do your research,
Yeah.
look into the zoning regulations,
Right.
planned developments,
Yeah.
even the local economic stuff that
Right.
can really give you an advantage.
All right, let's move on to this urban doom loop idea. It sounds a little bit like a bad sci-fi movie from the 80s, doesn't it?
It really does.
But okay, seriously. How worried should people be about this?
Well, it's definitely a phrase that gets your attention.
Yeah.
The basic idea is that when the population goes down, businesses start closing,
Okay.
then that hurts property values.
Right.
And it just spirals downwards from there.
Yeah.
It's not a pretty picture.
And some people are saying that even Vancouver growing is actually pulling people away from Portland.
Right.
And that's like adding to this doom loop effect.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that?
I mean, yeah, it's true that people moving around can have an impact,
Yeah.
but you got to look at the details.
Okay.
Portland's population did drop a little bit, but it's not like everyone's running for the hills.
Yeah.
And like we said, places like Vancouver are doing really well. So it might not be so much a doom loop.
Okay.
It's just a shift in where people want to live.
So more like shuffling things around.
Yeah, exactly. And even within Portland itself, there are areas that are doing great.
Okay.
Like the Pearl District
Yeah.
with its fancy condos and all the trendy stuff.
Right.
Or the Alberta Arts District. That's a big draw for creative people.
Yeah.
And it's got a really cool local scene.
Yeah.
Real estate in those places is still valuable.
Okay.
And it's still going up in price.
So for someone who's listening to all of this,
Yeah.
and they're trying to figure out if Portland real estate is a good investment,
Mm-hmm.
what do they take away from this?
Well, that's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And there's no easy answer.
Right.
Things are definitely changing in the market.
Yeah.
We've got these permit shortages, economic worries, and then you've got the whole remote work thing, which
Yeah.
is totally changing how people think about where they live.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, a house in the suburbs with a big backyard
Uh-huh.
sounds pretty nice if you don't have to commute downtown every day.
Right. So it sounds like Portland's market is facing some challenges.
It is.
But it's not all bad news.
Definitely not.
There.
And sometimes challenges can actually lead to the best opportunities.
Okay.
For people who are willing to do their homework.
Yeah?
And really understand how things are changing.
Yeah.
There's still ways to make good decisions.
Oh, yeah.
And find real value in Portland's market.
Okay.
So the question is, where do you see that potential?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
That's a perfect place to end things.
Yeah.
Keep learning.
Yeah.
Keep exploring.
Absolutely.
And most importantly, keep asking questions.
Couldn't agree more.
All right. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
That was fun.
Yeah, it was.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye.